Hello, my wonderful students. Today we're going to just do a little bit of a review of like terms and distributive property. I'm just going to title it 2-2b because I want it to come after our two-step equations because it's going to set us up for our multiple-step equations on lesson 2-3. So, quick review. Like terms is when we have variables that have the same, we have terms that have the same variable. So like behind me on number 1. So go ahead and write this down. So I have 5m minus 23 plus 2m, right? So what I actually have going on is I have a couple terms, and one of the terms has an m. And if you want, you can call it whatever you want. Monkeys, right? So I got my 5 monkeys minus 23, nothing, it's my constant, plus my 2 monkeys, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my monkeys together. I'm going to get my variables together. So I just put a nice circle around my little monkeys. My 5 monkeys over there and my 2 monkeys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them down together. So I'm going to put them over here. And then this is what we call simplified, right? I have my monkeys together, they're all happy, and then I have this 23 constant off by itself. And then this problem, or this expression, is simplified, right? I can't take this any further. So this one is also done. So then I look at the number 2, which it has a 3x minus 4x minus a 7. This one's a little bit easier because they put my x terms next to each other, right? But again, I like to circle my like terms, but I also circle the operation that's in front. So that minus 4x, once you circle it, it looks like a negative 4x. And then when you go to combine things, it's like adding. So I check negative 4, positive 3, different teams, so they're going to subtract. So I'm going to get a negative 1x. And then I have this constant, right? That doesn't have an x. So I'm just going to drop it down. And then if you really want to surprise me, remember that the book never shows that invisible 1. So you can rewrite it negative x minus 7. Right? So again, we're just combining our like terms, our variables. And we're just separating them from our constants. And once you get here, this is considered simplified. You can't do anything. Now, I have a slightly larger one right over here. I have a 5y minus 3 minus a 3y plus a 6 and plus a 4. Right? So again, if you want, you can go yo-yos, right? And so I have my 5 yo-yos. And then no yo-yo. Oh, here's a yo-yo. But remember, look, I'm circling that minus sign so that it looks like a negative 3. No yo-yos, no yo-yos, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my yo-yos together. And again, I look at their signs. He's positive. That's negative. Different teams are going to go to war. They're going to subtract. I'm going to get a 2y, or 2 yo-yos. And it's positive. Now, sometimes we overlook that if we have more than one constant or more than one plane number, those are like terms also. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a double underline under my constants. So I have a negative 3, a positive 6, and a positive 4. Right? Now, it doesn't matter how you combine these. But again, remember, they are different from my yo-yos because they don't have anything. So I can go 6 plus the 4 because they're both positives. So I can get 10. But then this is a negative 3. I have to subtract. So that gives me a 7. And if it just gives you a plain 7, then just put a plus sign. If it gives you a minus 7, then it would be a minus 7. So then this expression is also now simplified. I got my yo-yos together, or my variables, I guess would be the math term. And then I put my constants, which are my plain numbers. I put them all together. And this is called simplified, right? And you're going to want to really make sure that you understand that word simplified. It just means that we can't take this any further because we have yo-yos and constant numbers. They don't match. We have x's and plain numbers. That's where they don't match. We have my monkeys over here and minus 23. We can't combine them, right? So these are all three simplified. Now we're going to start going over the distributive property. So on the distributive property, that basically means multiplying, and we usually see a set of parentheses. All right, so go ahead and copy down these three quick problems, and now we're just going to go over them. So over here, I have 3 who's out in front, and this says D minus 4. So if you see parentheses, we want to kind of get rid of them. This is not the same as PEMDAS because, again, the D and the 4, I can't simplify them any further. It's like dogs and constant numbers. Can't mix them up. So the distributive property, just as a reminder that I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to times it by both of these terms. So this is how it looks. So I like to sometimes use the little double rainbow to show times. But again, what am I doing? I'm taking that 3 and I'm passing it or distributing it to the letter D and to this 4, right? So again, 3 times D, we know what 3 times D looks like. It just means 3D. And then over here, we just do our math, 3 times 4, and we get 12. And again, just like on the like terms, this is considered simplified, right? I got my 3 dogs, and then I have 12 constants. I can't combine these any further, so we stop right here. All right, so on the one right behind me, number 2, you have a negative out in front. So you got to pay very close attention to that negative. Because that negative is going to make this positive 5 become the opposite, or a negative, and it's going to make this minus 4 become a plus 4. So it's going to change the sign of both of these. So keep an eye out for that. So I'm going to do my double rainbow. Write times on it. This time I'm not going to actually show me passing out these 7 like I did with the 3. I'm just going to do the math. So even though there's a y next to it, that's fine. I can go negative 7 times 5. You type that into your calculator. You should get a negative 35. And then just put the y with it. So now I got negative 35 yo-yos. I take this negative, and I'm going to times it by, I'm going to turn that minus into a negative. So negative 7 times negative 4, that's going to give me a positive or a plus 28. Again, so 2 things to remember. This is simplified because I can't mix my yo-yos with my constant numbers. And what does that negative do? It changes this positive term to a negative term. It takes this negative term and makes it a positive term, right? Now, the feared fraction. Oh no, right? So the first step is always the same, double rainbow. Right? We're still going to multiply it. This one I'm going to show how it looks. So I'm going to take my 3/4. I'm going to pass it out to the x, put my plus sign, take the other 3/4, that's what you're doing, you're distributing it over to the 2. Now, this part's easy, just like with the negative 7 and the 5, you just put your answer in front of the variable. Over here, you just put the 3 in front of the d, do the same thing with the fraction. So this just becomes 3/4 x, right? That's real easy. And then we're going to still have a plus sign. And then this, Remember, this is multiplying fractions. It's not hard. All you have to do is put that invisible 1. You go 3 times 2, and I get 6. And I go 4 times 1, and I get 4. Right? Now what I would do is, you can type this into your calculator, and it will reduce it or make it smaller because I can divide both of these by 2. So what you can do is your final answer, that would be 3/4 x plus, and then if you actually type that into your calculator, it will come out as 3/2, right? So that's the distributive property, right? Of multiplying the number in front to get rid of the parentheses and get us to this simplified state. So I have one more problem to show you. All right, so for our last little review on like terms and the distributive property is once in a while they will actually put them together. So what you can see up here is I do have parentheses, and then I have this x term out here by itself, right? So the first step is let's get rid of the parentheses, right? Let's distribute first. So I'm going to take my 4 that's out in front, and I'm going to multiply it. So I go 4 times x, 4x. 4 times -4 is -16. And then drop down this -6x. Remember, he's not inside the parentheses, so we don't multiply that 4x by the 6x. But even after we get rid of the parentheses, you can see I have an x term over here and an x term over here. So I want to combine those. So again, I'm going to circle this. Make sure that when you circle, include the operation in front of it, because now it makes it look like a negative, -6, +4, different teams. They're going to go to war. You're going to subtract. You're going to get a 2x. But the 6x has more players, so it's going to be a -2. So there is my like terms over here. And then I take my constant, my leftover, and drop it down. And I get -2x -16, and this is simplified. All right, so that's just a quick review. We will have a small worksheet on this also. So as always, have a math-tastic day.